Hello, everyone, and welcome to this third SEO Mastery Summary. So, first and foremost, thank you everyone for being here and joining us again. It's awesome to see so many people have signed up. We have just around 10,000 people this time around, so it's gonna be another big one. So, first and foremost, huge shout out to all the speakers that have stood up and volunteered their time. It's amazing to have so many people wanting to speak, wanting to share, and really helping all of you guys learn. So today at this kickoff event, I'm basically going to cover a couple of things. The first thing is going to be about our platform, because we have a new platform in place. And second thing will be in terms of our fantastic sponsors that help this event be a possibility. And thirdly, I'll go through a high-level overview of the various speakers we have throughout the event and what we're going to see from them. So thank you again very much for tuning in here. So first off, I will start by sharing my screen. And go here, yeah. So I can see myself, that's a bit interesting, but this is the new platform that we're using for this event. It's called Eventy, and basically when you log into this platform, you will see 4 different menu points here in the left-hand side. So those menu points is number 1, agenda, my agenda, and what this is basically a collation of all the things that you have set that you want to see. So initially this one is not populated. It's only populated when you go through the agenda, and it shows what you actually would like to see at the event. So let's look at the agenda. So first of all, with the event agenda here, you'll see my initial kickoff call here. If you click on any of the sessions and you click the heart here, it will add it to your agenda, right? So right now I'm sitting looking at myself, which is interesting, but this is how the calendar and how the event app works, right? So you can actually go through the event, you can go through each day and you can highlight, if you don't feel like watching all of them, you can basically highlight which ones you're wanting to see. Now, second, this is showing in your time zone. So I'm currently in the UK, but the event obviously run on EST and normally start at 8 a.m. So these times will actually be based on my current time zone, and the same if you're looking in the calendar, those times will be based on that as well. Now, if you don't manage to see the speeches right at the start, they will actually be available for at least 24 hours, which means you will have plenty of time. So even if you're out for an hour or 2 or so on, you can always still go and catch them, right? So they will be available for at least a 24-hour period for all of the videos. So go through the agenda. You change the days up here, so you can basically go through the entire week's worth of speeches, see what you want to see, what you don't want to see, and really select and mark the ones that you're eager to watch, and they will then automatically be populated out here in my agenda when you log in. So the next step is our amazing sponsors. So again, this time we have had 9 companies that have stepped up and really helping us run this event and really enabling us to run this event. So we want to give a big thanks to all of these companies, and I want to go through briefly what the companies are and what they have on offer this time around, right? So our first 3, our top partner sponsors is first ODYS Global, that have come back for another round of sponsoring. ODYS basically provide 8 domains that help you kickstart an online business, and fundamentally it's probably the biggest place to buy domains out there in terms of H domains. They're very important and not expired, so it's H domains, right? Now, for the SEO Mastery Summit, you get $100 sign-up credit if you do sign up and mention SEO Mastery Summit in the sign-up form. So Otis manually approve every application, so it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone just get into the program, but if you do mention SEO Mastery Summit, you should get approved and you should get a $100 credit as sign up as well. So again, check out Otis, would be amazing. The second one is Outreach Mama. And Outreach Mama is a top tier link building agency, and they do multiple link building offers. Generally for the audience crowd here, they have 3 different offers. So the first one is around guest posts. So this is guest posting from the existing database. And if you use SEO Mastery GP, you'll get a 10% off basically any order that you make of guest posts. They also do custom outreach, and if you sign up for their custom outreach, you are able to sign up for 3 months, and you'll get the 4th month free. So again, use the code SEO Mastery CO, and that will get you moving. Lastly, they're also offering a free link building strategy call. So all you need to do to sign up for that is just click the button here and sign up for a suitable time. So that's Outreach Mama. Next up, we have WriterSen, and WriterSen is an exciting new software that have come out. Originally, it was launched in Vietnam, but they've recently scaled it out to the world, and they have a number of very cool things included. Both very easy keyword finders using something they call the all-in title golden keywords. They have the sort of typical keywords clustering tools. So basically the typical keyword clustering functions as well. And they are an all-inclusive tool, which means they basically have keywords, they have keyword research and all this sort of stuff. So definitely if you're starting out, it's definitely a great tool if you can't yet afford tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush. But also for more advanced users that have Ahrefs and SEMrush, this tool does have some new cool functions that really enables you to do a lot of stuff. Now, fundamentally, they're offering a huge discount. So basically 70% off the yearly standard and advanced plans, which means you're getting them for $100 to $200 for an entire year. So that is definitely very competitive in terms of price. And as well, I'm very grateful to the guys that they're giving us a 70% discount. So again, use the special code SEO Mastery and you'll get 70% of the yearly plans for either standard or advanced plus. Now, generally compared to many of the regular keyword tools and even the tools that are doing clustering, you often end up paying for a lot of work done, right? These guys basically offer you like 500,000 keywords for clustering and so on. So I have tried myself. I did sign up and I've enjoyed the tool a lot. And I've tried myself to actually utilize the limits, which I haven't not been able to. So I challenge you to try and test the limits as well. So basically, it looks like for most normal users, at least, you will not have problems with any limits, whatever it comes down to. Our elite sponsors, first of all, it's JobRec coming back. So like ODYS, JobRec were a sponsor at the first event as well. And JobRec is a done-for-you hiring service. And they're generally based out of Eastern Europe, or they're focused on Eastern Europe talent. And they're run by Noel, who was here speaking at the first event, and he will also be speaking at this event here. Now, they are great if you don't want to hire yourself, if you want someone to just do it and find someone fantastic. JobRec is a great company for doing so. Now, they run a special offer at the moment where you can save $250 on your next hire with the done-for-you service, right? So all you need to do to get started is just click the green button here and get moving. So fantastic service. And if you're hiring some of your first people, if you're not familiar with hiring, I can highly recommend Noel and the team. And yeah, I know lots and lots of people who have had lots of success with JobRec. So best of luck with that. Next, we have Riddle Me Right. Riddle Me Right is a relatively new content agency that's providing super competitive native written content. So their typical standard price is about 4 cents per word, but again, specifically for the SEO summary crowd, SEO Mastery Summit crowd, they are offering 20K words for only $600, which is only 3 cents per word, and that is written and edited content, which is, I think, the cheapest I've ever seen for native English content. So again, give these guys a try. I believe they have a limited number of these packages, but yeah, get started. If you love native content, check them out. Riddle Me Right have worked with a few people I know at least, and yeah, have come with high recommendations. Last elite sponsor is Finance Insight Matters. So one of the things, particularly if you run an agency, is knowing your numbers, understanding the profitability for various clients and so on. And Finance Insight Matters is an amazing company in terms of helping particular agents, but also bigger SEOs really understand and get their finances under control. And more importantly, help them get the most out of the data and actually help them make the data actionable. So it's a company that have also come with high recommendation this time around. They have a 20% offer on the so-called game plan. And again, you can go and check that out by just clicking the green button. The focus is generally improving the profits. And again, they've worked with many agencies, and they love helping them, identify where is the biggest opportunity for growth and improvement, and how can you best make more money with your existing offerings and so on. So again, highly recommend it. I really recommend you check them out. And they also do offer bookkeeping and so on, and they actually understand what you do. So if you need bookkeeping as well, they can also take care of that piece. But where I've seen the most value is definitely in the Insights Matter service, where I particularly myself enjoy what they do and get a lot of benefits from that. Lastly, we have 3 VIP sponsors. The first one being Investing.io. So Investing.io is a community for entrepreneurs turned investors. It's run by my very good friend Travis Jameson, who's also speaking at this event. And yeah, amazing community. If you have made good money from SEO, if you are considering, should you keep putting all your money back into SEO, I heavily suggest that you take a look at Investing.io. They are mostly people who have come from either the SEO world, e-commerce world, or the likes, and they generally consistently review various investment opportunities and help guide people through that. So I highly recommend them, and I love being a part of the community. So again, check them out and sign up for Investing.io. Next, we have Aristo Sourcing, which is an outsourcing company that provides you cost-effective labor, either in the Philippines or native English speakers. So again, you can set up a call to discuss your hiring needs, and free of charge, obviously. And again, these guys have helped lots and lots of people, and lots of great opportunity if you're looking to outsource and you're not really sure where to get started. The last sponsor, you might recognize the name, Singh's Management Consultants. So again, I put myself in here, and this time around, we're offering a 30% discount on my flagship course, the Effective Management Mastery course, that lots and lots of SEOs have had a big benefits from taking and really enjoyed the benefits of. So again, if you feel you're struggling with people management, if you're not getting the most out of your team, this is a great opportunity for yourself to go in and learn how to manage your staff more effectively. So again, just click on Singh's Management Consultancy and click here to learn more, and you'll get taken straight to your fantastic discount. So that is our sponsors, and this time around. I'll just quickly check here if there's any questions. So far, not a couple of people saying hello. So next up, we have our speakers this time around. Now, I would say for this time around, we have a couple of ways to actually ask questions. So I didn't actually show this in the agenda. Let me do that. So in the agenda here, when you click on any speech, you can actually ask questions out here. Now, they usually need to be approved first, but you can basically do that here. So even the live sessions, you can both ask questions here at the Q&A, and you can also ask questions as usual on YouTube, on Facebook, or wherever we're streaming. So you can ask them in any of those places. The last thing is you can also rate each speech, and I would love you to do that. So you can basically go in after you've listened to each of the speakers and give them a rating from 1 to 5 stars. And again, that will help us understand what the most popular topics are and so on and so forth. So thank you again for that. So as I said, the last piece here, just close myself down. The last piece here is all our amazing speakers. So I'll go through these guys as well. And yeah, we have, obviously, it is a different setup. We are using a new tool this time around, so it have given us some new opportunities to shine some more light on various speakers and really enable you to see what they're all about. So first and foremost, we have Dixon Jones from Inlinks. And again, Dixon has been around the block for a long time, and yeah, well-renowned SEO speaker. I met him myself about 3 or 4 days ago in London, in Brighton, at Brighton SEO. Again, he is speaking all over the place and very, very familiar guy. Victoria Aldman runs a marketing agency in New York focused on lawyers and so on. And again, she has been a relatively newcomer to the SEO world, but she managed to establish a huge agency in a very small amount of time. She comes from the business world, and one of the proofs to me that sometimes mixing business and SEO is a very, very good idea, because you basically get the opportunity to often grow and scale more when you have a bit of better business understanding. The third speaker is Cora. A lot of people have seen Cora's name around. This time around, he's going to do a little bit different presentation, but I highly, highly recommend you tune in, because it is definitely a presentation that will be a game changer if you're not on it already. So again, you can go to the agenda, check out the different speeches, but highly, highly recommend taking a look at Cora's presentation. Very interesting. Domenica is talking about outreach, and again, she worked at an agency called WriterSen for quite a while, and she's doing digital PR, and digital PR is big. It's getting bigger, and particularly in terms of outreach and getting not just the typical guest post link, but higher quality links. Domenica's presentation also fantastic. I heavily recommend you take a look at that one as well. Now, realistically, I probably will recommend all the speakers. That's why I picked them in the first place. But again, certain things might be more interesting to you or not. Next up, we have Pierre. Like myself, he's Danish, but he is nothing less than the strongest copywriter and marketing coach around. It is self-professed, I believe. So take it with a grain of salt, perhaps. But at least Pierre's presentation on copywriting and so on is great. I think most SEOs are very good at bringing people to the site, but actually converting them into what they want them to convert to is often a weaker point. So heavily recommend checking out Pierre's presentation. Chris also doing an amazing presentation this time around. So Chris has been an avid fan of SEO Mastery Summit for quite a while, and he's been in the SEO world for quite a while as well, and it's been a pleasure following him around. I really love his presentation as well, and I think if you're looking for someone that's coming from the crowd, something that's coming from a very strong SEO, Chris's presentation is very interesting. So again, Chris, an awesome guy. Check out his presentation. Travis, again, this is an interview with Travis, and Travis probably one of the guys I know that have been not just around, but been extremely successful in the world of SEO for many, many years. He currently runs a company called Smash Digital, and probably one of the guys I've learned the most from in the SEO world in terms of business knowledge, in terms of SEOing and so on. So I can heavily, heavily recommend to tune into the interview and see all the nuggets that Travis is sharing. Next, we have Gert, and Gert is the founder of SEO Leverage, also very well known, also speak on many stages around the world. And I love Gert's presentation as well, where he's sharing lots of valuable benefits and points from the industry. And I think you would benefit, whoever you are in the SEO world, you'll benefit from having a look at his presentation as well. Next up, we have Sophie, and Sophie is a writer, as she have the longest company name I've ever seen, which is, let me write that down for you. Again, if you are into writing, if you struggle with managing writers in particular, definitely check out Sophie's presentation. Very interesting and lots of fun. So, great one. And again, the only challenge we've seen with the platform so far is with the speakers. When you actually scroll down and click on one of them, you need to manually go back up here. So hopefully it will be solved at some point, but unfortunately, it's not an automatic at this point in time. So just be aware when you click on the speakers further down the list, you will see that once in a while. Next up, we have Bruno. I've known Bruno for quite a few years myself, and he is also a great business guy. He's very, very good at sales. And I first met him around a company called Go High Level that he was working with, and I got involved with a little bit as well. And Bruno is very good at talking about sales and actually closing clients, making money from SEO, not just charging a grand or two, but actually making really good money from SEO. Again, if you run an agency, if you're aspiring to run an agency, definitely check out Bruno's presentation. All fantastic. Next up, we have Navin. And Navin is a coach, and he worked with lots of successful people. He's sharing a lot of his coaching, and he's sharing a lot of the key tips of how he helped people improve and deliver fantastic results. So again, it's a little bit different, not SEO specific presentation, but again, I think this is probably one of the most important things that people can learn in the SEO community, which is more business skills and more ability to deliver. So tune into Navin as well, and I'm sure you'll enjoy his presentation. Next up, another guy that I've been in the light recently is Oliver Duong, and he's basically Haitian, French, Vietnamese. He have lived in a few places, and he's a CRO guy. So we've had a few CRO guys on the event the last couple of times. He is the main CRO guy this time around, and if you're struggling converting people, again, this is the guy to listen to. He has lots of great experience. Also love his website and lots of good information on that one as well. So check out Oliver's presentation. It's one of the great ones as well. William Jones talks about one of the things that I'm not particularly good at when it comes to SEO, which is GMBs and how to rank GMBs very effectively. Again, William lives in the Philippines and have a big Filipino team. He generally spent most of his time on local SEO and really on GMBs and ranking stuff, and he's very good at it. So tune into his presentation as well and see what he's got to share. Next up, we have Abby. And Abby have also been in the SEO world for quite a while, and she's working currently in an agency called Uproar. And Abby has as well a very, very good presentation this time around. She's been a pleasure to follow, so she has spoken at a few different events, and I eventually asked her to come and speak at this event here, which we managed to make happen. But yeah, Abby was a pleasure to follow, and really lots of powerful tips and tricks to share. So really, again, recommend checking out her presentation. Getting down towards the bottom here. So Isabella. Isabella is, again, co-founder and head of search and marketing in Creators Media. And she's also based in the UK, which I currently am, but hopefully not for long. Again, Isabella have been around for quite a long time. And yeah, again, very impressive presentation this time around. I think we've seen quite a few people come in and share lots of tips around really relevant for agencies and so on. And I really like the presentations you have this time with, yeah, for me, it was a great one. Lots of stuff to pick up from. And I would say personally, probably the biggest benefit from being the host of this event is that I get to listen to all of these presentations. So definitely tune in for Isabella's presentation as well. Next up, we have Jason Bernard, which I was also lucky enough to bump into here at Brighton SEO a few days ago. So he is the brand SERP guy, and he is the expert when it comes to ranking brand SERPs and getting your knowledge graph and knowledge panels. So again, if you're into knowledge panels, check out Jason. If you're not into knowledge panels yet, definitely check out Jason as well. He will convert you, and he goes over lots of good grounds in terms of both why you should get the knowledge panel, but also all the fantastic benefits you could get from it. So excellent. Next up, we have Christopher, which is also a Danish guy. He run a 200 plus people agency in Nordic countries, and I really, really like his focus on sales and really business more than anything. So again, Christopher is running one of the agencies that most agency owners want to run. Majority of people haven't gotten to 200 staff yet, and he's sharing so much beneficial knowledge here in terms of really running an agency and really closing new sales, right? So super interesting chat. So tune in for that. Next up, we have Georgie, and he is going to talk about link building. He have currently set up a new company called Tribe My Way. He was previously working at SEMrush, but Tribe My Way is his new domain in the world. And yeah, again, lots and lots of good information. If you like link building, particularly if you like link building at scale, he have a lot of good stuff to share. So I really recommend you tune in if you want to improve your link building skills. So running up and down here, Darby, I first saw her actually on the IMG presentation. So the guys over at IMG Gold, and Darby have a lot of experience, particularly in the real estate world, where she shares a lot of her experience specific to real estate. Now, generally, even though it is real estate specific, most people who are doing local SEO at least can really learn from it. She is talking about real estate, but it's just as relevant to other local businesses. And again, real estate is a very popular niche where lots and lots of people are trying to make good money. And yeah, no matter how long you've been in the game, I'm sure there's things you can pick up from Darby's presentation. Next up, we have Elisa. And again, she's been around for quite a while. Again, she is one of the speakers that I've seen at a few different events. She comes from SEO Zoom, and that's a SEO tool and a new tool as well that have lots of interesting functions and some new functions that I haven't seen so much before, which is definitely worth checking out. She's also based in the UK, but generally talks about a few different things. But yeah, I really recommend both listening to her presentation and also checking out the SEO Zoom tool. I found it very interesting myself. Next up, we have Sad, and Sad is sharing a case study that you've done. And as always, I love case studies. It's very good to see not just specific points about what to do, but also how other people approach things. And Sad shows some of the key things that he have seen in his presentation and also as a case study. And I really like the case study. I think particularly from a technical point of view, there's quite a few things to pick up. So check out Sad's presentation as well. And see if I can find the right place. So Phil Drinkwater. Phil is now a coach. Phil used to be well ingrained in the SEO world, but nowadays he coaches people and really help them how to be better at particularly confidence, believing in themselves, and so on. And Phil as well is a good friend of mine, and I love hearing whenever Phil talks, always things to pick up. And again, one of these presentations that will teach you more than just SEO. It will take it to the next level and teach you some of the skills that it takes to really be successful in the SEO world that isn't SEO specifically. Following up here. I obviously can't find my way around. There we go. John Butterworth. So John works for Ardor SEO, and he's gonna pull the curtain back and share exactly how they onboard clients, the exact process of how to onboard clients at a very successful marketing agency. Ardor SEO is owned by Chris Reed, and they have been very successful over the last few years and really growing and scaling and really bringing in both new clients, but also much higher paying clients that enable them to be very successful. So again, their onboarding process is amazing, and I really, really recommend you check it out. So check out John Butterworth's speech as well. Next, we have Mindy Weinstein. And sorry, screen's just loading here. Yep. And Mindy have been around the SEO world for a long time as well. She is in the market mindshift. is the company. And Mindy had a very interesting presentation as well. I think when it comes to SEO, there's always so many different ways of doing things. And personally, I find that you can learn a lot from just even people doing the things you're doing, but just seeing them again and again. It really, seeing how other people are doing things can be really, really beneficial, right? So this time around, Mindy is gonna talk quite a little bit about sort of actionable SEO that moves the needle. There's a lot of SEOs out there, and I've definitely been guilty over the years myself in that, where you end up doing a ton of things that feels good to do because you're checking boxes, but it's not really moving the needle properly. So Mindy is gonna share her presentation about the key things that she finds, at least, will make a big difference for you. Next up, we have Minuka, and Minuka is the expert all around the world when it comes to expert roundups. So she does that for a living, and she's sharing here in her presentation exactly how you can do it as well. So she's sharing all the steps, she's sharing all her knowledge about how to do expert roundups. And again, both great for link building, it's great for getting organic traffic, and it's great for building connection with other business owners, other people in the same niche. So really recommend tuning into Minuka's presentation as well. Next up, we have James Brockbank, and James also talking at the Brighton SEO that I was just at. But James this time around is going to talk about content that journalists really want to link to in 2021, right? So again, if you love doing high quality content, if you love getting journalist attention and really putting the best content out there that will get attention, definitely tune into James's presentation. I learned a ton myself, and I thought it was really, really beneficial. So tune in, and James will take good care of you. Next up, we have Singh, and he runs SEO Singh, which I hadn't heard about until recently, but I've checked out a lot of his shows and so on SEO afterwards, and very interesting. So Karen is sharing about his sort of revenue first SEO, how he focuses on actually doing SEO that is making money. Lots of SEOs out there, again, doing a lot of things, starting sites in a lot of niches, but they're not really being effective about revenue. So his approach is called revenue first, and again, really, really recommend you check out his presentation. And that doesn't really matter if you're an agency or if you're an individual, but really interesting presentation. Next up, we have Alex, and Alex is also been in the SEO game for a very long time. He is a very senior SEO himself, and this one was a little bit interesting to me because Alex is going to talk about Python in the SEO world. Now, I am not a developer by any stretch of imagination. I've definitely gotten a little bit of an idea of what we can actually use Python for, particularly when it comes to automation and the likes. But it was very interesting for me as a non-developer, having a little bit of a look behind the curtain and seeing what Python is able to do. But I'd also say for you developers out there, you might get some great ideas of the things that he have been doing and that he have been looking at. So tune into that one as well, whether you're a developer or not. All right, next up, we have Tamara Sykes. So Tamara have been a SEO strategist for quite a while. I originally followed her around Twitter for a while before I asked her to speak. But she's going to talk specifically about storytelling, right? And particularly about how to have a content strategy that will win, right? And her presentation, particularly for someone like me that's a quite nerdy guy and maybe not great at storytelling, it was very both eye-opening, but it also really helped me understand how to go about storytelling and how to really make a presentation that excites people, or not just a presentation, but really a content plan that excites people and get people excited and so on. And nowadays, that's what it's all about, strong content. So check out Tamara's presentation as well. Next up, we have Nick Ranka, and Nick is from Down Under. She has been an SEO specialist for many years, and she's done a great presentation of site migration. So we did have a presentation about site migration, the first SEO Summit by Jake Kettner, but this time around we have another fantastic presentation about some of all the potential downfalls, particularly if you're working as an agency with multiple clients and so on, and you eventually move or migrate sites. There's a ton of stuff to learn here, and I really recommend tuning into Nick's presentation as well. It was a pleasure talking with Nick, and yeah, lots and lots of stuff to share that I hadn't thought about, so I learned a couple of things myself. Next up, Amy. So, and Amy have the coolest name when it comes to an agency. So she is the head of digital PR at Absolute Digital Media. So again, she has been in the online marketing world for quite a while. And yeah, again, a joy of a presentation, I would say. Amy was generally talking about a lot of the big wins that you can do today to really kickstart your digital PR, right? So similar to a couple other speakers with this big topic, digital PR is going so big, and she has some very good approach to digital PR that I think I found personally very relatively easy to implement. Again, my personal preference is always listening to multiple speakers, looking at how multiple people do things and try and pick up the pieces I find is the best for each one of those topics. So again, if you love big links, if you love digital PR and so on, then yeah, check in with Amy's speech. It was a great one as well. Next up, we have Sarah, and yeah, she's a SEO specialist at LIP. I'm not really sure if that's pronounced correctly, but Sarah also have a super presentation where she's talking about Google Search Console reports. And I think Google Search Console is one of the things that most people don't look enough at. So if you're not yet an expert at Google Search Console, if you're not using it very frequently, definitely take a look at Sarah's presentation and see what she covers and see if she's using it in any ways that you haven't thought of before. I, again, definitely picked up a few things myself. I have started using Search Console more the last couple of years, but I got a lot more hints and tips to how to use the data. So Sarah's presentation is going to be epic. Next up, we have Enrico. And, yes, remember to always go back up to the top here. So Enrico is the director at Blue Array, and he is also, like most speakers, been around for quite a while. So Enrico, this time around, is really sharing a lot of his experience when it comes to the online world and sort of the SEO world in particular. Enrico, like most of the speakers, is not a super experienced presenter, but he will do a great job on content, and he's sharing a specific case study, which is about a company called Go Kartless. So again, as I said earlier, I love case studies. I love seeing how we've done things, and yeah, just nowadays the game is very much on content and digital PR, and that's also what our presentations here reflect. So great presentation with Enrico, so check it out. Next up, flying around and all this. So next up, we have Liras Poston from Lily Marketing Service, and this was also a very good presentation. I think looking at Liras' presentation will definitely teach you lots of new stuff in terms of international SEO, right? So she has been an international SEO for quite a while, and at least for me, she will go through lots of stuff with Reflang and really how to work with sites the right way. There's many people who make mistakes either on combining the wrong content or the likes, and I think you can definitely pick up a lot. So if you are doing international, if you have sites with multiple languages and so on, definitely don't miss out on Lyra's presentation. Right, let's see where we are. Definitely hope this stuff gets fixed. So yes. Next up, we have Igor and Vitaly. They are doing a presentation together, specifically on how to effectively run a company and really how to use a very, very solid framework on how to run a company in the SEO world, right? There's many people using sort of various tools, using various strategies from project management tools and so on. And they're going to go around how to use Scrum specifically. Now, again, this could or could not be something for you, but I find it very interesting how they run their agency using Scrum. And yeah, very interesting presentation. Again, these guys have been around the world around the SEO world for quite a while. And yeah, I do see many agencies that are really struggling to effectively manage their agencies and getting stuff done. And I like the way that Igor and Vitaly was going through this. So tune into their presentation as well. Next up, I'm obviously getting confused in all this. To the right place. Next up, we have Stephanie Solheim, and she is the co-founder of Women in Marketing. And this time around, we're doing an interview with her. She's running one of the biggest women-only groups in the marketing world, and very, very interesting. I think, particularly if you're a woman, if you're working with minorities, if you're running groups in general, you can learn a lot from Stephanie. She is very, very good at running communities. She has lots of experience and she does it very well. One of the things that personally impressed me when I first connected with Stephanie was the fact that she was constantly, it felt like she was constantly on social media. Obviously, she's not, but you're constantly seeing posts coming out from her. And most importantly, they're getting a ton of engagement. So definitely, if you want to build a community, if you have built a community, highly recommend tuning into Stephanie's presentation as well. Next up, we have Isabelle Milhauser. And Isabelle is also talking a little bit about SEO with multiple languages and so on. So she's based in Switzerland that have 3 different languages in itself, which is German, French, and Italian. She's also covering a lot around how to do that effectively, right? How to effectively work with content in multiple languages. She definitely have an approach that's quite different to what I've seen before. And yeah, I don't want to spoil too much of her presentation, but again, if you are into multilingual SEO, definitely recommend tuning into Isabella's presentation as well. That was lots of stuff to learn. Next up, towards the end here, we have Noel Andrews from JobRec, and Noel is doing actually 2 presentations. So he is doing one that is specific to how to effectively hire people, and that will be a live. And that one, you have to tune in as well. So he's not only telling you how to hire people effectively, he's also gonna answer questions. So if you are able to tune into that one, if you have any hiring needs, which I know most SEOs have, definitely recommend to tune into that one. Again, Noel is a sponsor as well at the event, right? And yeah, I highly recommend listening to his presentation if you're looking to hire. So key. He's also doing another presentation throughout the event. So as you can see again on the agenda here, let me open it in a new window. So you can see all the presentations through here, right? So he is doing another presentation at the event as well. That one will not include Q&A, but in that one, he's basically going to talk about how to effectively establish connection with others. And he's using a video tool to consistently record videos and so on to his clients, and that have gotten him a lot of success. So basically his speech presentation is, do you also want to have 70% open rate or 70% open rate? And I think that's something that most of us would love to have. So check out his presentation of how he have managed to grow job rate significantly over the last couple of years. Next, find it here. So next up is Daniel McGowan. So Daniel is also have two presentations. So he have one without question and answers first, and that presentation will be all around how you effectively can use his easy way of finding keywords called all in title. So basically, when you find keywords, keyword sentences, and so on, how to effectively check how easy it is to rank for it. That's both a manual process for this, but Daniel is also sharing with us how his tool can do it. But generally, very interesting presentation, particularly for new SEOs, I think. If you're looking to start out and if you want to have some easy keywords to rank for and generate your traffic, his presentation is great. He's also going to do a live session, which is going to be a demonstration of the tool WriterSen at all the capacity it have. So again, I highly recommend you tune into that one as well. Next up, we have Mushfi Sagar, and Mushfi again is very well known in the online space. He runs the website Flip, and he's going to talk and share more about how to effectively build websites, particularly on either buying existing websites or building on age domains and all this good stuff, and how you can really get a head start when you're building and wanting to flip websites, right? So Mushfi focuses always to do it fast, and how he managed to do that. Generally, he do 10 to 15 flips a year, right? So he's doing lots of flips, and he's done over 180 flips by now. So I highly, highly recommend tuning into Mushfi's presentation, pretty much whatever you do in SEO, because in the end of the day, most SEO is about making money, and you can definitely learn a lot from his presentation. Again, there will also be a presentation with Q&As where you'll be able to get answers straight away. Next up, we have Adam Trainer, and Adam is from Outreach Mama. Adam, obviously here we haven't gotten a lot of info put in with Adam, but basically Adam runs Outreach Mama, and yeah, very successful online link building agency that builds links in multiple different ways. And he's also going to do a online presentation with Q&As live and really go through how they do at Outreach Mama, right? He'll share also something about the services and so on. He also have a presentation without Q&A where he's basically pulling back the curtain and showing how they do link building and exactly what they go into when they're looking at links and their criteria and so on. So again, if you love link building, definitely don't miss Adam's presentations. Next up, we have Rob doing a session as well with Finance Insight Matters. So as I mentioned earlier, these are also one of the sponsors. Rob's presentation will also include Q&A, so he'll be able to answer there and then. But if you run an agency, if you have any problems with your numbers, if you feel you're not making enough profits, which is the case for most agencies I ever work with, then definitely tune into Rob's presentation and see how he can help you make more. Right, Stacy Caprio is also having a great presentation. So she's one of the sort of newer people that have started working with age domains in particular, and she's sharing again a specific case study where she got hold of an age domain, build it out, and what success you've seen over just 6 months period, right? I find these super interesting, and I really love how Stacy was able to achieve fantastic result, not necessarily without having been in the SEO world for 20 years, right? Just taking a simple approach to it, really getting hold of a good domain and really building content that ranks. And yeah, very interesting case study, and you would love to check it out, I'm sure. Next up, we have Mike Pierce and Bradley Maybury, and they're gonna do a presentation about diversification networks, which I'm very much looking forward to as well. So I'm not gonna click on them here, but not that much information on them right now. But basically, Mike and Brad, again, have been in the SEO world a long time. They're also very frequent guest and host at one of Craig Campbell's shows. So I'm very excited to have Mike and Brad around here. And yeah, definitely a great chat about diversification networks. So tune in as well. Last speaker is me right now, showing you a little bit about what this event will all be about. And right now I'll unshare my screen and I'll just go and check if we have any questions so far. So if you have any questions, anything you want to ask or anything is not clear, either with the new software, with the agenda and so on, feel free to shout it out. So Kamal, hello. Good having you here. I think we have lots of people tuning in at the moment. So if you have any questions, anything you want to ask, go ahead. And if not, I will give you all a 10-minute break here before the event kicked off and before we start before we start getting into the summit. So at the summit, the first presentation after mine is going to be around knowledge graphs with Dixon Jones. So again, you have a great opportunity to start knowledge graphing. Just before we kick off, I believe that all the logins have been sent out and so on. If not, they should be out very shortly. As I mentioned this time around, we are on a new platform. We have been playing with that. It's been a little bit interesting, but we're really hoping that the platform will be significantly better and significantly more effective this time around, and also helping people get the most out of all the presentations and so on, right? So thank you very much for listening so far. Great to have you here. And yeah, be back here in about 8 minutes. Check the next presentation that will take place. And yeah, see you in the next couple of days.